Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's time for a PCP movie night. And tonight we had an awesome PCP movie night. We watched 2002 Sam Raimi classic, Spider-Man. That's right, everybody. We watched the classic, and that's right, classic, because 15 years ago, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out. Now, there has been a lot of stuff going on since this movie came out, but I remember everybody loving this movie. I remember loving this movie, so I was really looking forward to seeing this movie again. We, of course, are getting ready for Spider-Man Homecoming, coming from Sony and Marvel Studios, a collaboration, shared universe, all that jazz. Super excited to see what the PCP crew has to think about this movie on the rewatch. So first of all, John Hammertime, Holshoe, what'd you think about Spider-Man on the rewatch?
I think it holds up pretty well. Some of the special effects, not so much. They were great for their time, and they hold up a lot better than a lot of other films. I mean, it was a big budget film. I still think, great cast, great costume. That was one of those things too that when the movie came out, I remember people like, you can't do this. You know, Batman, they changed to a black costume.
Yeah.
The X-Men films, remember, that's afterwards, but they have the black leather. And they're like, you can't do Spider-Man in that traditional costume. It's not going to work. And you know what? It does. It works great.
It looks great.
It looks great on the big screen.
People, and this is what we're saying, is that the way things have seemed to go is that the longer this movie has been out, the more people have jumped on the hater bandwagon. And that really bothers me because, like John said, we all loved this movie when it first came out. The costume looks amazing. There is so much about this movie that is straight out of the comic book, and I love it. Speaking of straight out of the comic book, and I love it, Jelani, what do you think about this movie on the rewatch?
It's an excellent film. Who's hating on this?
There are a lot of people out there on the interwebs.
Oh, they should probably stop because this film is fantastic.
It's amazing. Spectacular.
Sensational.
Might
Web
say
of.
superior.
Web of?
Yeah, some of those things.
But
it's a great movie because I mean, as a kid I watched it. Well, not even a kid. I was what?
You weren't a kid.
Yeah,
early 20s we were.
Yeah.
But it was enough.
Younger.
It was enough for me to really enjoy this film. I mean, it works well. I think it blends in well. It sets a standard of what comic book movies should be anyway. And it's a great film because it is a great cast, as you said. My one thing is still, how did Peter Parker come up with that costume? Like, that was a very intricate costume. I don't think anybody...
Especially after just getting paid $100.
I mean, right. It's just like, I have $100. I'm going to make this very webbed-in costume. But it's a great film, and it still holds up, and I love everything about it. I loved Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. He is his walk, his
Spider-Man,
his face, everything about him, that costume, everything worked well. Like you said, the CG, some parts in the daytime it didn't hold up well, but at night it's perfect.
And a lot of it is done at night.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the CG actually holds up really well.
It really holds up pretty damn.
Like even 15 years later. Willem Dafoe is amazing as Norman Osborn. He does the dichotomy of the character perfectly in the scene with the mirror.
He's two
different people, and that's so cool. And a lot of people hate on the costume for Goblin, but I think it actually works. There are scenes when he's on the glider and he's moving at night, when he's like flying by, when he's like at the kids in the cable car.
Right.
He looks creepy. He looks
really does.
spooky.
He looks scary.
He looks like a green-eyed evil monster, you know?
does.
Finish it! He delivers us from evil! But I love Willem Dafoe in this movie. I think the costume, and like you said, is practical. It's a flight suit. He obviously has this crazy thing about masks because of his mask collection or whatever. Speaking of crazy people with collections of masks, Brooks, what'd you think about this movie on the rewatch?
I didn't like it that much, really.
I don't believe you.
I'm just trying to be cool. But yeah,
You don't have to try, Brooks.
I remember like you and me and a few of our friends, we went and saw this movie when it came out. We were all hyped about it. It was a big deal.
Of course it was.
And I remember we loved it. And you know, it hasn't lost that really. Like, you know, maybe it's because, you know, it's been so much time, but you know, seeing it again, it's like, you know, it's an event. It was like the turning point when comic book movies became like just stupid movies that always sucked to, blockbusters like Iron Man and the Avengers and stuff like that. And, it does have its flaws, but I think overall it's like you can overlook whatever little flaws there are. I mean, its virtues outweigh its,
Its faults,
Yeah.
absolutely. One of the things that we have mentioned that I absolutely adore is that it set the precedent for what a superhero origin film is supposed to be. Now, obviously, a lot of that came from the Richard Donner Superman film, right? But Sam Raimi figured out how to take that formula and kind of streamline it and make it very concise and very engineered. And this movie feels so fast, and it really covers a lot of time. So you have 2.5 to 3 hour long superhero origin movies today that cover the space of like 3 days. This movie is like a really short, concise, like what? Hour and 45, maybe 2 minutes, and it covers like a year in the life. Yeah, covers a lot of stuff. It's a very concise, well-written script that I think is just engineered to perfection. I think the CG holds up. I think the actors are amazing. Tobey Maguire is amazing.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst is the one actor in the movie that I think kind of miscast. Doesn't really fit there that much. But then again, Willem Dafoe, Tobey Maguire, these are great talents. Even James Franco, I think, is awesome in this movie. I love this movie. We all love this movie. So I don't know why all these people have all of a sudden saying they've never made a good Spider-Man movie. Maybe it's just that's what people say now because of the Homecoming trailer.
But was it the first big Marvel movie? Like I'm saying, a Marvel.
Well, there was
property.
Blade, and there was X-Men. But Spider-Man was like the first one where it was like X-Men, they were like, maybe this is a comic book movie. They were still kind of doing the sci-fi thing. No holds barred, straight up.
Yeah, we're gonna
question.
try to follow the comic.
Yeah,
And
this
they
is
got
a
it
Spider-Man
right.
movie.
Yeah.
You got it right.
It feels like classic
first
Spider-Man,
time.
and I love it. I love everything about this movie.
And you reboot it poorly. I mean, you do reboot it really poorly. And you get the model. You already see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And you turn around and ruin it with the others.
Maybe one of the
in my
problems
opinion.
with the reboot with Andrew Garfield is the fact that we had these movies already.
Right.
So when I first saw The Amazing Spider-Man, I was like, why are they doing this? We already have Spider-Man. Just
Tell
do it.
Spider-Man
Just do
story.
another Spider. Like we know Spider-Man's origins. It's like they've done tons of Batman movies without actually starting off with the origin of Batman. But anyway, this is a great superhero origin movie. And of course, you said a great cast. Cliff Robertson is one of those amazing cast members. He plays Uncle Ben. First of all, also, Sam Raimi directed this film. Director of Evil Dead. That was another reason why we were like super pumped for this movie back in the day. And I think Sam Raimi is amazing. There's a lot of talk in the air right now that maybe he's circling around doing The Flash, which I think could be super cool and fun. But I love Sam Raimi's work. I love this movie. So obviously with Uncle Ben and Spider-Man, so responsibility is a big theme, and that is the theme of the movie. It's about responsibility. With great power comes responsibility. If you have the power to do amazing things, whether it's with your head or with your body, if you have amazing things that you can do, an amazing talent, you have a responsibility to use that talent for the good of mankind. And to me, that has obviously always been the theme of Spider-Man, and specifically the theme of this movie, obviously. So what do you think about some of the themes in this movie, Hammertime, Holshoe?
I think that's the biggest thing is you don't have to go out and be a superhero, but you definitely have to use what you have for good. I don't even think he has to say he has to go out and fight crime or do necessarily be a good guy. Just don't use it for bad.
Yeah, just go
that's
help
all
your
he's
uncle.
saying.
Just go help your uncle paint the kitchen.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's simple stuff.
The superhero doesn't have to paint the kitchen. It would help. I mean, you got to mask everything off, and there's no way he painted that kitchen that one fucking night.
Mask everything off?
Yeah.
Mask
Yeah.
everything off?
Well, I meant a different
What do you
type
think,
of mask.
Jelani, about some of
Because
the...
he wears a mask!
I get it.
What do you think about some of the themes in this movie, Jelani?
Responsibility. I mean, you guys already nailed it. It's the only thing in here. It's such a solid movie, and it's a solid theme that you can stand behind. I like. You can be responsible. You can be a good person, and anyone can be a good person. And
Except for Jelani.
Yeah, because I'm a hater. But it's possible. I mean, there's certain things that you can glean from this movie to place in your everyday life. And that's what I love about it too. I mean, it can be a dark story, but it also has a moral.
Yeah.
And it's a great film for that, and that's why I enjoy it.
And
That's
look
why I
at
give
look
it
at the parallel between Peter and Uncle Ben and Harry and Norman. And it shows you how special having a loving parent figure
will do for you.
is. Exactly. Speaking of having a loving parent figure, we all have a loving parent figure in our lives in Brooks. So what about some of the themes in this movie, Brooks? What do you think?
Well, yeah, identity crisis is definitely a.
That's
big
DC.
thing. Yeah, I'm not talking about the identity crisis crossover in DC. I'm talking about especially with the Green Goblin. And,
Yes.
the Green Goblin, he's a very, when you first meet him, he seems like a nice enough guy. He's very normal. He's rich, but he's a bit, snooty and everything. But he seems like a decent enough guy.
Snooty.
And when he becomes a goblin, it's like he doesn't know what's going on.
Yes.
He doesn't realize, that he has this other identity. But slowly he starts putting the pieces together. And Peter has the same thing as like, I'm Spider-Man, but I also have to be Peter Parker.
It's another parallel, yeah.
It's like you have to make time. Like when can I be Spider-Man, and when do I need to be Peter Parker? And pretty much every character you can say pretty much the same about. It's like Harry too.
Yeah.
He wants to be the good son, but he can never live up to that.
Right.
Well, his dad is a dick, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's about finding your identity, like what you want to be, and and you can't always be what you want to be all the time. Sometimes you're gonna be, you're not gonna live up to your own expectations, but you just gotta do the best you can with what you got.
And sometimes we find our identity within our responsibility. So that's what the pop culture philosophers have to think about the Spider-Man movie. Let us know down below, what did you think of Spider-Man 2002? And seriously, before you comment down below, rewatch it, because it is so good. It's still good. It is still one of the highest standards of a superhero origin movie. Absolutely, in my opinion. In these guys' opinions, we love this movie. So let us know down below. Maybe there's some CG that's not quite right, John. Anyway, let us know down below what you thought about the movie. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Please do like, share, and subscribe. We do comic book reviews, movie reviews, toy reviews, all that and more, including our podcast. Can be found at popculturephilosophers.com. This has been
Jelani Bullard.
This has been
Brooks.
And this has been
John Hammertime Holshoe.
I am Rockin Robbie Billups. We are Pop Culture Philosophers. Thank you guys so much, and dig 'em, dig 'em, dig 'em. Golden smacks. So he does kind of,
Spider-Man,
that's meant to be like
Spider-Man.
biomatter, so it has to be
Spider-Man.
human
I
waste.
think,
Yeah, it's like-
I think on spiders, it's poop.
It's
Oh,
yeah.
silk.
And it's supposed to come like out of his
Silk
butt or
is,
something.
silk is spider poop.
Well,
Yeah.
do
Spider
spiders
poop.
poop?
Well, worms make silk too, though.
Yeah.
Can you put a diaper on a spider?
If it's a tiny enough diaper.
A silk diaper.
Hmm.
All right.
That would be ridiculous.
That's like putting a hat on a hat, Robbie.